The sun shone brightly through the tall windows of the dojo, lighting up the polished wooden floor. It was early afternoon, and the air inside felt alive with energy. Students moved across the mats, practicing kicks, punches, and blocks under the watchful eye of their coach. Among them was a new face, Eva Norris. She had just joined the academy after years of private training at home. Her father had always been strict about keeping her skills hidden, but now at 16 she felt ready to step into the world of formal martial arts. Eva stood quietly by the edge of the mat, adjusting the collar of her white guy. It still smelled, faintly of fresh cotton, its crispness making her feel both proud and nervous. She glanced around the room, taking in the faces of the other students. Some were focused intently on their practice, sweat glistening on their foreheads. Others whispered among themselves, casting curious glances her way. Word had spread quickly that Chuck Norris's daughter had enrolled in the dojo. Jake and Ryan were two of those watching her closely. They were seniors in the class and considered themselves the best fighters there. Both were tall and muscular, with confident grins that often bordered on arrogance. When they noticed Eva standing alone, they exchanged amused looks. "Did you hear?" Jake said, leaning toward Ryan. His voice was low but carried just enough for those nearby to overhear. "That's Chuck Norris's kid. Guess she thinks she can walk in here and show us all how it's done." Ryan smirked, crossing his arms over his chest. "Yeah, right. Let's see how long it takes before she trips over her own feet." Their laughter echoed, softly, blending with the sounds of padded feet hitting the mat. Eva heard every word but didn't react. Instead, she took a deep breath and reminded herself why she was here: to train, not to prove anything to anyone. Still, she couldn't deny the sting of their words. She had worked hard for years, perfecting her techniques in solitude. Now, stepping into this new environment, she knew she would have to earn respect the hard way. Coach Carter clapped his hands together, drawing everyone's attention. "All right, everyone," he called out, his deep voice cutting through the chatter. "Let's gather up. Today we're going to focus on partner drills. I need volunteers for a demonstration first." Jake immediately raised his hand, pointing straight at Eva. "I'll go against her," he announced loudly, his tone dripping with mockery. A ripple of giggles spread through the group, though some students shifted uncomfortably, sensing the tension in the air. Eva turned to look at Jake, meeting his gaze steadily. Without hesitation, she nodded and stepped forward onto the center mat. The murmurs grew louder as she walked past the other students. Some whispered encouragement, while others openly doubted her abilities. Jake swaggered behind her, flexing, his arms dramatically as if to intimidate her further. As they faced each other, Coach Carter gave them instructions. "Remember, this is about control and technique, not brute force. Keep it clean, and let's make it a learning experience for everyone." Jake grinned cockily, bouncing lightly on the balls of his feet. "Don't worry, I'll go easy on you," he teased, earning more laughter from the crowd. Eva remained silent, bowing deeply before settling into a defensive stance. Her movements were fluid and precise, betraying none of the nerves she might have felt. The moment the match began, Jake lunged forward aggressively, aiming to overpower her with sheer strength. But Eva sidestepped effortlessly, redirecting his momentum with a subtle twist of her wrist. The sudden shift caught him off guard, and he stumbled slightly, drawing gasps from the audience. Undeterred, Jake growled in frustration and attacked again, this time attempting a high kick. Eva ducked beneath it, sweeping his supporting leg out from under him. He hit the mat with a thud, stunned by the speed and efficiency of her counter. Before he could recover, she pinned him down with precision, holding him firmly in place. "Match over," Coach Carter declared, raising an eyebrow at the unexpected outcome. The entire room fell silent, the only sound being Jake's heavy breathing as he lay sprawled on the mat. Eva released him and stepped back, offering a polite nod. Jake scrambled to his feet, his face flushed with embarrassment. I slipped," he muttered lamely, avoiding eye contact with anyone. Eva didn't respond, simply returning to her spot on the sidelines. The rest of the class stared at her in awe, their earlier doubts replaced by curiosity, and perhaps a hint of fear. As the session continued, whispers followed Eva wherever she went. Some students approached her afterward, congratulating her on her impressive performance. Others kept their distance, unsure of what to make of her. Despite the mixed reactions, Eva stayed focused. She knew this was only the beginning. There would be more challenges ahead, and she was determined to face them head-on. For now, though, she allowed herself a small smile. She had taken her first step into this new chapter of her life, and she wasn't about to let anyone or anything stand in her way. After the first match ended so quickly, whispers rippled through the dojo like waves. Some students were amazed by Eva's skill, while others refused to believe what they had just seen. Jake's stumble and fall had been too sudden, too unexpected. Surely it must have been a fluke, or maybe even luck. Ryan, who had been laughing along with Jake earlier, now wore a scowl. He couldn't let this stand. If someone didn't step up and put Eva in her place, the whole class might start thinking she was better than them. Ryan stepped forward, his voice cutting through the chatter. "Nice trick," he said sarcastically, his tone sharp enough to draw everyone's attention. "But let's see if you can handle someone stronger." Eva turned to look at him, her expression calm but alert. She didn't say anything right away, just studied him carefully. When she finally spoke, her voice was steady and clear. "If you want to spar, ask Coach Carter. I'm not here to prove anything to anyone." Her words only seemed to irritate Ryan further. He clenched his fists and glared at her, but before he could retort, Coach Carter intervened. "Enough talking," he said firmly, stepping between them. "If Ryan wants to spar, we'll do it properly. But remember, this is about learning, not showing off." Ryan nodded, though his jaw remained tight. Eva simply bowed slightly and returned to her spot on the mat. The rest of the class gathered around again, eager to see what would happen next. This time the tension in the air was thicker, almost palpable. Everyone could feel it. The stakes felt higher now. When the match began, Ryan wasted no time. He charged at Eva with full force, swinging punches and kicks with reckless abandon. His attacks were powerful, designed to overwhelm his opponent. But Eva moved like water, slipping past each strike with ease. Every time Ryan thought he had her cornered, she would sidestep or duck, leaving him swinging at empty air. The crowd watched in stunned silence. Ryan's frustration grew with every missed hit. Sweat dripped down his forehead as he pushed himself harder, throwing faster and more aggressive moves. Yet no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't land a single blow. Eva remained composed, her movements precise and deliberate. She wasn't just avoiding his attacks, she was studying him, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. That moment came sooner than anyone expected. 14 seconds into the match, Ryan lunged forward with a wild kick aimed at Eva's side. Instead of dodging, she stepped closer, using his momentum against him. With a quick twist of her body, she redirected his leg and followed up with a sweeping motion that knocked him off balance. Ryan stumbled backward, his arms flailing as he tried to regain his footing. But Eva didn't give him the chance. In one smooth motion, she delivered a controlled elbow strike to his chest, sending him crashing to the mat. The room erupted into gasps and murmurs. No one had expected it to end so quickly, or so decisively. Ryan lay there for a moment, stunned and breathless, before rolling onto his side. Eva stood over him, her posture relaxed but alert. She extended a hand to help him up, her expression neutral. For a second, Ryan hesitated, glaring at her hand as if unsure whether to take it. Finally, he pushed himself up without accepting her offer, brushing dirt off his GI with jerky motions. "Match over," Coach Carter announced, his voice cutting through the buzz of conversation. He looked at Eva with a mixture of pride and curiosity. "Well done. That was textbook technique." Eva nodded respectfully, then stepped back to allow Ryan some space. He avoided looking at her, his face red with embarrassment and anger. Muttering something under his breath, he stormed off the mat and disappeared into the locker room. The other students exchanged glances, unsure of what to say. Some clapped quietly, while others whispered among themselves. Despite the victory, Eva didn't celebrate. She knew better than to gloat. Instead, she focused on calming her breathing and centering herself. Martial arts wasn't about winning or losing. It was about discipline, respect, and self-improvement. Her father had drilled those values into her since she was a child, and she wasn't about to forget them now. As the session continued, Coach Carter paired the students up for partner drills. Ava worked with a younger girl named Mia, patiently guiding her through basic techniques. Watching Ava teach, many of the students began to realize that her skills weren't just about raw talent, they came from years of dedication and practice. Slowly, their skepticism started to fade, replaced by admiration and curiosity. Still, not everyone was convinced. Later that day, during a break, Ryan approached Eva near the water cooler. His voice was low, but there was no mistaking the edge in his tone. "You think you're better than us because of your dad?" he demanded. "This isn't Hollywood, sweetheart." Eva turned to face him, her expression calm but firm. "My dad taught me respect," she replied evenly. "Maybe you should try learning it too." Her words hit their mark, and Ryan's face flushed with anger. For a moment it looked like he might lash out, but instead he clenched his fists and walked away, muttering under his breath. Ava watched him go, feeling a pang of sympathy despite his hostility. She understood why he felt threatened. It wasn't easy to have your confidence shaken, but she also knew that real strength came from overcoming fear and doubt, not from proving yourself to others. After the session ended, Eva stayed behind to practice alone. She liked the quiet of the empty dojo, the way the sunlight streamed through the windows and danced across the mats. It gave her time to reflect on the day's events and prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. As she moved through her forms, she reminded herself why she was here, not to win matches or earn praise, but to grow stronger in mind, body, and spirit. Unbeknownst to her, Coach Carter observed from the doorway a thoughtful expression on his face. He had seen many students come and go over the years, but few possessed the combination of skill, humility, and determination that Eva displayed. There was something special about her, something that went beyond martial arts. Whatever path she chose to follow, he had no doubt she would leave a lasting impact. For now, though, Ava remained focused on the present. She finished her routine with a deep bow, then gathered her things and headed home. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new lessons, and perhaps even new rivals. But Ava was ready. She always had been. The next few days at the dojo were different. After Eva's matches against Jake and Ryan, the other students couldn't stop talking about her. Some admired her skill and wanted to learn from her, while others still doubted whether she deserved all the attention. Whispers followed her everywhere, sometimes respectful, sometimes mocking, but Ava didn't let it bother her. She came to the dojo every day with one goal in mind: to train. Jake had cooled down after his embarrassing loss. When he saw Eva practicing alone one afternoon, he walked over hesitantly. "Hey," he said, scratching the back of his neck. "Look, I'm sorry about what I said before. You're really good." Ava looked up, surprised but not unkind. "Thanks," she replied simply. "And don't worry about it. Everyone makes mistakes." Her response seemed to catch Jake off guard. He nodded awkwardly and left, but the brief exchange marked a shift in how some of the students viewed her. Slowly, more people began approaching her for advice or tips during practice sessions. Even Mia, the younger girl Eva had worked with earlier, started asking questions about technique. Eva welcomed these interactions, happy to share what she knew, but not everyone was ready to accept her. Ryan avoided her completely, keeping his distance whenever she entered the room. His pride had taken a hit, and he wasn't willing to admit defeat. Not yet. Instead, he spent his time whispering to his friends, trying to convince them that Eva's victories were just lucky breaks. "She got lucky twice," he muttered during one session. "That doesn't mean she's better than us." His words spread quickly, reigniting doubts among some of the students. A few even suggested organizing another sparring match to test Eva's abilities again. Though they didn't say it outright, their intentions were clear. They wanted to see if she could hold her own under pressure. Coach Carter noticed the tension brewing and decided to address it. One evening, after most of the students had left, he called Ava aside. "You've been handling yourself well," he said, his tone serious but kind. "But I can tell there's still some unrest in the group. Are you okay with that?" Ava nodded. "I expected it," she admitted. "People need time to adjust. I'm not here to prove anything, I just want to train and get better." Carter smiled faintly. "That's exactly why I wanted to talk to you. Your father once told me something important. True strength isn't about winning fights. It's about earning respect through action. And that's what you're doing, but I also know this won't be easy. There will always be people who doubt you, no matter how hard you work." Ava listened carefully, absorbing his words. She appreciated his honesty and understood where he was coming from. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was waiting for her, something beyond the dojo walls. Later that week, Coach Carter announced a special exhibition match between senior students. It would take place on Saturday morning, and everyone was encouraged to attend. When he revealed the pairings, Eva's name appeared alongside Ryan's. The room fell silent, the air thick with anticipation. Ryan smirked when he heard the news, cracking his knuckles dramatically. "Guess we'll settle this once and for all," he said loudly, his voice carrying across the room. Ava didn't respond, though she felt a flicker of excitement. She knew this match wouldn't just be about skill. It would be about proving herself to those who still doubted her. As the days passed, Ava threw herself into her training. She arrived early each morning and stayed late into the evening, perfecting her techniques and refining her strategy. Sometimes Coach Carter joined her, offering guidance and encouragement. "Remember," he reminded her one afternoon, "this isn't just about beating Ryan. It's about showing everyone, including yourself, what you're capable of." Ava took his advice to heart. She practiced not only physical moves but also mental preparation, visualizing every possible scenario and planning her responses. By the time Saturday arrived, she felt ready. Not because she was certain she would win, but because she trusted in her abilities and the lessons she had learned over the years. On the morning of the match, the dojo buzzed with energy. Students filled the seats along the walls, chatting excitedly as they waited for the event to begin. Ryan stretched near the center of the mat, his confidence evident in the way he moved. Ava stood quietly at the edge of the room, taking slow, steady breaths. She blocked out the noise around her, focusing instead on the rhythm of her heartbeat. When Coach Carter called them forward, the crowd hushed. Ava bowed deeply to Ryan, then settled into her stance. Ryan mirrored her gesture, though his smile carried a hint of arrogance. As soon as the match began, he launched into an aggressive attack, throwing punches and kicks with relentless speed. But Ava remained calm, dodging each strike with precision and countering strategically. 14 seconds later, it was over. Ava executed a flawless combination, a spinning elbow strike followed by a leg sweep that sent Ryan crashing to the ground. This time, there was no argument. The entire dojo erupted in applause as Coach Carter declared Ava the winner. Afterward, as the crowd dispersed, Ava felt a sense of satisfaction, not because she had beaten Ryan, but because she had faced the challenge head-on and proven her worth. She knew this victory wouldn't silence all her critics, but it didn't matter. What mattered was that she had stayed true to herself and her values. As she packed up her things, Coach Carter approached her with a proud smile. "Your father would be proud," he said. "You've shown incredible humility and strength." Ava returned the smile, her heart swelling with gratitude.
"He taught me everything I know," she replied softly. "I just hope I can live up to his example." Though she didn't realize it yet, her journey was far from over. Beyond the dojo walls lay challenges greater than any sparring match, and Ava was about to discover just how strong she truly was.
Saturday morning arrived with a crispness in the air, the kind that made everything feel alive and charged with energy. The dojo was packed, not just with students but also with parents, siblings, and friends who had come to watch the exhibition. Matches. Everyone seemed eager to see how the senior students would perform, especially the much-anticipated matchup between Norris and Ryan. Ava stood quietly at the edge of the mat, tying her belt one last time before stepping onto the center stage. She could feel the weight of dozens of eyes on her, some curious, others skeptical. Ryan, meanwhile, paced back and forth like a caged animal, his jaw clenched and his muscles tense. He kept muttering under his breath, replaying strategies in his head. Though he tried to act confident, there was no mistaking the flicker of doubt in his eyes. Coach Carter stepped forward, raising his hands to quiet the murmurs. "All right, everyone," he announced, his voice steady and commanding. "Today's matches are about respect, discipline, and growth. Let's give our best and support each other." He turned to Eva and Ryan, motioning for them to join him in the center. "This match will be judged on technique, control, and sportsmanship. Remember, it's not just about winning, it's about learning." Both fighters nodded, though their expressions couldn't have been more different. Eva's face was calm and composed, while Ryan's was tight with determination. As they faced each other, Eva bowed deeply, her movements graceful and deliberate. Ryan returned the gesture, though his bow was quick and sharp, almost dismissive. Then they took their stances. Eva relaxed and ready, Ryan coiled like a spring, itching to strike. The moment Coach Carter signaled the start of the match, Ryan exploded into action. He charged at Eva with full force, throwing a rapid series of punches aimed at overwhelming her. His attacks were powerful, designed to break through any defense, but Eva didn't flinch. She moved with effortless precision, sidestepping each blow and keeping her balance perfectly. Every time Ryan thought he had her cornered, she slipped away, leaving him swinging at empty air. The crowd gasped audibly, their murmurs growing louder with every missed hit. Ryan's frustration mounted, fueling his aggression. He switched tactics, attempting a high kick followed by a spinning elbow strike. Eva ducked beneath the first attack, then used his momentum against him, grabbing his arm and redirecting his spin. For a brief moment, Ryan lost his footing, stumbling forward awkwardly. But he wasn't done yet. With a growl of determination, he launched another flurry of strikes, faster and harder than before. Eva remained calm, her movements smooth and calculated. She waited patiently for her opening, studying Ryan's rhythm and anticipating his next move. 14 seconds into the match, she found it. Ryan lunged forward with a wild punch, leaving himself unbalanced. In an instant, Eva stepped inside his guard, delivering a precise spinning elbow strike to his chest. The impact sent him staggering, backward. Before he could recover, she swept his supporting leg out from under him with a swift motion. Ryan crashed to the mat with a thud, his breath knocked out of him. The room fell silent for a heartbeat, followed by an eruption of applause. Even those who had doubted Eva couldn't deny what they had just witnessed. Coach Carter raised his hand, signaling the end of the match. "Winner, Eva," he declared, his voice carrying authority. Eva extended a hand to help Ryan up, her expression neutral and respectful. For a moment, Ryan hesitated, glaring at her hand as if unsure whether to take it. Finally, he pushed himself up without accepting her offer, brushing dirt off his GI with jerky motions. His face was red with embarrassment and anger, but he said nothing, simply walking off the mat without looking back. As the crowd cheered, Eva bowed deeply to Coach Carter and the audience, then stepped aside to let the next pair of fighters take the floor. Despite the victory, she didn't celebrate or seek attention. Instead, she focused on calming her breathing and centering herself. Martial arts wasn't about glory or recognition. It was about discipline, respect, and self-improvement. Her father had taught her these values, and she intended to live by them. After the exhibition ended, many students approached Eva to congratulate her. Some admitted they had underestimated her and apologized for their earlier skepticism. Others asked for advice on improving their own techniques. Eva welcomed these interactions warmly, happy to share her knowledge and encourage others to grow. But not everyone was convinced. A small group of students still whispered among themselves, insisting that Eva's victories were due to luck or circumstance rather than skill. Ryan, in particular, avoided her completely, his pride wounded too deeply for him to acknowledge her abilities openly. Yet even he couldn't deny the shift in the dojo's atmosphere. Eva's performance had earned her a new level of respect, whether people wanted to admit it or not. Later that evening, after most of the students had left, Eva stayed behind to practice alone. She enjoyed the quiet of the empty dojo, the way the setting sun cast long shadows across the mats. It gave her time to reflect on the day's events and prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. As she moved through her forms, she reminded herself why she was here, not to win matches or earn praise, but to become the best version of herself. Unbeknownst to her, Coach Carter observed from the doorway, a thoughtful expression on his face. He had seen many students over the years, but few possessed the combination of skill, humility, and determination that Ava displayed. There was something special about her, something that went beyond martial arts. Whatever path she chose to follow, he had no doubt she would leave a lasting impact. For now, though, Ava remained focused on the present. She finished her routine with a deep bow, then gathered her things and headed home. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new lessons, and perhaps even new rivals. But Ava was ready. She always had been. The days following the exhibition match brought a noticeable change in the dojo. Ava's performance had silenced many doubters, though not all. Some students still whispered behind her back, clinging to their skepticism, but most began treating her differently, with respect. They stopped seeing her as just Chuck Norris's daughter, and started recognizing her as someone who truly belonged on the mat. Jake, for instance, approached her during a break one afternoon. He scratched the back of his neck awkwardly, avoiding eye contact at first. "Hey, I wanted to say thanks," he mumbled. Ava raised an eyebrow, surprised. "For what?" "For showing me that I've got a lot to work on," Jake admitted, finally meeting her gaze. "I thought I was good, but watching you fight made me realize how much I need to improve." Ava smiled faintly, appreciating his honesty. "We all have room to grow," she said. "Even me." Her response seemed to catch Jake off guard, but in a good way. He nodded, looking more confident than before. "Yeah, well, maybe you can help me out sometime? With some pointers, I mean." "Sure," Ava replied. "Anytime." Their conversation marked a turning point for others in the class. Slowly, more students began asking for her advice, not because they felt obligated, but because they genuinely wanted to learn. Even Mia, the younger girl Eva had worked with earlier, started shadowing her movements during practice sessions. Eva welcomed these moments, happy to share what she knew while continuing to push herself harder. But Ryan remained distant. Though he avoided direct confrontations, his resentment simmered beneath the surface. He often lingered near the edges of the group, muttering under his breath whenever Eva demonstrated a technique or received praise from Coach Carter. His frustration was palpable, but Eva chose not to engage. She understood that pride could be a heavy burden to carry, and that sometimes people needed time to come around. One evening after the dojo emptied, Coach Carter pulled Eva aside. "You've handled everything remarkably well," he said, his tone thoughtful. "Not everyone would stay so calm under pressure." Eva shrugged modestly. "It's not about me. Martial arts is about growth, for everyone. If I can help someone else get better, then it's worth it." Carter nodded approvingly. "That mindset is rare, especially in someone your age. Your father must be incredibly proud." At the mention of her father, Eva's expression softened. "He taught me that. True strength isn't about winning fights, it's about earning respect through action, and that's what I'm trying to do here." Her words stayed with Carter long after their conversation ended. He watched as Eva continued practicing alone, refining her techniques late into the evening. There was something remarkable about her: dedication, a quiet determination that set her apart from others. It reminded him of her father, but also of something more: the potential for greatness. Later that week, Coach Carter announced a special training session focused on advanced techniques. "This will challenge even our most experienced students," he explained. "It's optional, but I encourage anyone interested to participate." Eva signed up immediately, eager to test her limits. To her surprise, several other students joined, as well, including Jake and, even more unexpectedly, Ryan. Though Ryan didn't speak to her directly, his decision to attend spoke volumes. Perhaps he was finally ready to move past his pride and focus on improving himself. The session took place on a Saturday morning, with the dojo bathed in golden sunlight. Coach Carter led the group through a series of complex drills designed to push their skills to new heights. Eva excelled as always, but this time, she wasn't the only standout performer. Jake surprised everyone with his improved footwork, while Ryan showcased raw power and determination. For the first time, the three of them worked together seamlessly, each contributing their unique strengths to the exercises. By the end of the session, sweat dripped from their brows, but smiles lit up their faces. Coach Carter clapped his hands, together grinning broadly. "Great job, everyone. This is what teamwork looks like." As the students dispersed, Ryan hesitated near the door. When Eva walked past, he cleared his throat nervously. Hey," he said, barely above a whisper. "Thanks for, not rubbing it in my face." Eva paused, studying him carefully. "I don't believe in holding grudges," she replied simply. "We're all here to learn." Ryan nodded, looking both relieved and embarrassed. "Yeah, well, maybe we can spar again sometime. Properly, I mean." "Any time," Eva said, offering him a small smile. With that, Ryan left, leaving Eva to reflect on the moment. It wasn't forgiveness or friendship, not yet, but it was a start. She knew that real change took time, and she was willing to give him that space. As the weeks passed, Eva continued to train tirelessly, balancing her responsibilities at the dojo with her studies. Her reputation grew, not just within the academy but beyond it. Parents of younger students began mentioning her name admiringly, and local martial arts enthusiasts started taking notice. Yet despite the attention, Eva stayed humble, focusing on her personal growth rather than seeking recognition. Then one evening, as she prepared to leave the dojo, Coach Carter handed her a folded note. "Read this when you get home," he said cryptically, "and bring your curiosity and your courage." Intrigued, Eva tucked the note into her bag without asking questions. She trusted Coach Carter implicitly, knowing he wouldn't steer her wrong. Little did she know the message contained within those few lines would lead her down a path far greater than anything she'd imagined. For now, though, Eva returned home, eager to see what awaited her. Whatever it was, she was ready. After all, she had spent years preparing for challenges like this, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. Martial arts had taught her resilience, discipline, and the importance of staying grounded no matter the circumstances. As she opened the note later that night, her heart raced with anticipation. The journey ahead promised to be unlike anything she'd ever faced, but Eva knew one thing for certain: she wouldn't walk it alone. When Eva opened the note that night, her eyes widened as she read its contents. It was brief but intriguing. "Meet me in the training hall tonight at 8 p.m. Bring your curiosity and your courage." The handwriting belonged to Coach Carter, but there was something about the tone that felt different, almost secretive. Eva's mind raced with questions, but she decided not to dwell on them too much. Instead, she prepared herself mentally and physically, knowing that whatever awaited her would require her full focus. At exactly 8 p.m., Eva arrived at the dojo. The building was dark and quiet, save for a faint glow coming from a door she had never noticed before. Pushing it open cautiously, she found herself descending a spiral staircase into a hidden underground chamber. The air was cool, and the walls were lined with glowing panels that cast an ethereal light over the space. Ancient weapons hung on the walls alongside high-tech monitors, displaying maps and data streams. It looked like something out of a movie, a blend of tradition and cutting-edge technology. Coach Carter stood waiting for her, his expression unreadable. But what truly took Eva's breath away was the figure standing beside him, her father, Chuck Norris. For a moment she froze, unsure whether she was dreaming. Her father rarely visited public places these days, let alone made surprise appearances. "Eva," he said warmly, stepping forward to greet her. "I heard about your matches. You've done well." His words filled her with pride, but they also raised more questions. Why had he come here? And why did this place exist? Coach Carter cleared his throat, drawing their attention back to the matter at hand. Ava, there's something you need to understand. This dojo isn't just a place for teaching martial arts. It serves a higher purpose, a mission that spans generations. Ava frowned, confused. What kind of mission? Her father stepped closer, his voice calm but firm. The world faces threats beyond ordinary comprehension. Threats that most people will never see or believe exist. This organization protects humanity from those dangers, using skills passed down through centuries of martial arts tradition combined with modern knowledge and tools. Ava's heart pounded as she processed his words. You mean, like spies? Or superheroes? Chuck chuckled softly. Something like that. But it's not about fame or glory. It's about serving others, often without recognition. Your training, under my guidance and later here at the dojo, has prepared you for this role. Ava shook her head, still struggling to grasp the enormity of what they were saying. But why me? I'm just me. You're far more than just you, Coach Carter interjected. Your discipline, humility, and strength make you uniquely suited for this work. Not everyone can handle the responsibility or the danger. Her father placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. This isn't a decision you have to make right now. Take your time to think about it, but know this. If you choose to join us, you'll be stepping into a legacy far greater than any title or trophy. For several minutes, Ava stood silently, absorbing everything they had told her. Part of her wanted to run away, to retreat to the simplicity of her life before this revelation. But another part, the part that had always craved meaning and purpose, felt a spark of excitement. This was her chance to use her skills for something bigger than herself. Finally, she looked up, her expression resolute. If this is real, if this is truly about protecting people, then I want to help. Tell me what I need to do. Coach Carter smiled, clearly pleased with her response. First, we'll expand your training. There are techniques and strategies you haven't encountered, yet disciplines that go beyond traditional martial arts. Second, you'll learn how to operate within this organization, working alongside others who share your commitment to justice. Her father nodded approvingly. And remember, Ava, true strength lies not in defeating enemies, but in inspiring hope. You carry not only my name, but also the responsibility to use your gifts wisely. Over the following weeks, Ava dove headfirst into her new reality. She trained harder than ever, mastering advanced combat styles, learning survival tactics, and even studying languages and cryptography. Each day brought new challenges, pushing her to grow in ways she hadn't thought possible. Alongside her physical training, she developed mental resilience, learning to stay calm and focused under pressure. As she progressed, she met others like her, young men and women from around the world, each chosen for their unique abilities and unwavering dedication. Together, they formed a team, united by a shared mission to protect humanity from unseen threats. Ava quickly earned their respect, not because of her last name, but because of her skill, determination, and willingness to put others first. One evening, after completing a particularly grueling exercise, Ava found herself reflecting on how far she'd come. From the shy girl who had walked into the dojo months ago to the confident young woman standing in this secret training hall, she had transformed in ways she could never have imagined. Yet she knew her journey was only beginning. Her father joined her, leaning against the wall as he watched her stretch. "How are you holding up?" he asked gently. Ava smiled, meeting his gaze. "I'm doing okay. Sometimes it feels overwhelming, but I think this is where I'm meant to be." He nodded, pride shining in his eyes. "You've always had a warrior's heart, Ava. Now you're learning to channel it towards something greater. Never forget why you started this path. To serve, to protect, to inspire." Ava took a deep breath, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. She didn't know what the future held, but she was ready to face it head on. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she would meet them with courage, discipline, and an unshakable belief in the power of kindness and justice. And so, Ava Norris stepped fully into her legacy, not just as Chuck Norris's daughter, but as a guardian of humanity, forging her own path while honoring the principles her father had instilled in her. The road ahead would be difficult, but she knew one thing for certain. She wasn't walking it alone.